Good evening. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight at our JRS USA 42nd Anniversary Special. I'm Joan Rosenhauer, the Executive Director of Jesuit Refugee Service USA. And tonight I'm coming to you live from Bogota, Colombia. I'm here with our global senior leadership team to help set direction for JRS for the coming year. I'm also visiting our program serving internally displaced people fleeing ongoing internal violence, as well as more recent refugees from Venezuela, where a humanitarian crisis threatens the lives of millions. Visiting the refugees we serve and our staff who work directly with them is always an inspiring experience of resilience and determination. I'm so grateful that you're joining us tonight to hear more of these inspiring stories. Over the past 42 years, JRS has had the privileged opportunity to work all over the world to accompany, serve, and advocate for those who are in need, from South America to South Asia, from Ukraine and everywhere in between. We take pride in our ability to help the countries on 6 continents around the globe. It doesn't require one to look very hard to see those we serve. A quick check on the news will reveal the deepening crisis around the world that are forcing families to flee their homes and that seem to be growing at an exponential rate. According to numbers from the UN, there are over 103 million people now forcibly displaced from their homes, which includes an increase of more than 14 million people since the beginning of this calendar year alone. Our dedicated staff has worked tirelessly over the last year to make sure that we are able to provide the standards of care and programming that JRS is known for around the world. I'd like to take a moment to send a special thank you to those of you who have been involved or contributed to our organization this year, last year, or at any point. Your contributions are essential to supporting refugees as they rebuild their lives, and your advocacy helps shape critical policies that promote the well-being of displaced people globally. Because we're coming to you live from Bogota tonight, we wanted to invite one of our colleagues to join us. Daniel Restrepo Muñoz works in our Latin America and Caribbean regional office here in Bogota. He wanted to share a few words with our friends from the United States. So welcome, Daniel. Thanks, you for being here.
Thank you. So, queremos desde la ciudad de Bogotá, junto con todos nuestros compañeros de la región, agradecer a las personas de buena voluntad de Estados Unidos por todos los apoyos que han dado aquí a la región. Son esos apoyos los que nos permiten acompañar, servir y defender a aquellas personas desplazadas, forzadas, inmigrantes en la región. Esto no lo podríamos hacer sin ustedes. Por eso queremos agradecerles por cada una de las donaciones y ayudas que han hecho aquí a la región.
Thank you, Daniel, for being with us. We are so proud to work with you and your colleagues and the refugees here in the region. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, Daniel thanked you, our supporters in the U.S., on behalf of his colleagues in Bogota and throughout Latin America and the Caribbean, for your concern and generous support. He said they couldn't help the displaced people in this region without your support. So over the next 30 minutes, we want to take a moment to shine a spotlight on what we have all been able to do together, refugees, staff, and you, our donors and advocates. We'll focus on a couple of the many programs around the world that helped nearly 1 million people in the last year. From here in Bogota, we will take you to see a shelter in Quito, Ecuador that hosts mainly those who have fled Colombia and Venezuela. This shelter houses some of our livelihood programs that help train and empower people to start their own businesses, becoming hairdressers or bakers or jewelry makers or providing countless other services. We will also introduce you to Masood Omari, a refugee from Afghanistan, and Abigail Adams Greenway, who will give a special performance as Tabla for two. Later, we will journey nearly 7,500 miles to Kenya, where you will meet Martha, an occupational therapist who is working with children who have intellectual and developmental disabilities like Down syndrome or cerebral palsy in the Kakuma refugee camp. Additionally, we will have a special performance from four-time Grammy Award winner Renée Fleming, as well as some additional special guests and appearances along the way. So please relax and enjoy as we take you now about 700 miles southwest of where Daniel and I are to show you some of our programs from Ecuador.
Yo les puedo decir que realmente la situación para las familias en movilidad humana es dura, compleja, pero no es imposible. Yo siempre digo a estas personas, no tienen la culpa de haber tenido que salir de su país de las formas que han salido. Y creo que quienes trabajamos en movilidad humana y quienes pueden hacer algo por estos seres humanos, darles una nueva dinámica, es un deber y un derecho de ellos y ellas. Allá. Vamos, mi amor, allá. Actualmente me encuentro como administradora de la Casa de Acogida del Servicio Jesuita a Refugiados acá en Quito. Brindamos acogida por un periodo de 15 días o un mes. Este periodo tienen las familias un lugar para vivir con la atención alimentaria y acceso a servicios como salud, educación.
Los más pequeñitos se van en la buseta. Ya, los chiquitos de allá, mi amor, vamos con los chiquitos.
En este momento tenemos alrededor de 45 personas entre adultos, niñas, niños y adolescentes. En su mayoría es población venezolana y población colombiana. Por la primera semana siempre es una semana de que las familias manejen su duelo, el de haber dejado su país, el de haber dejado todo.
¿Cómo está, mi señor? Venimos a visitarle un ratito.
La mayor parte de las familias necesitan ser escuchadas, necesitan hablar de su emoción, del dolor, del miedo, de la frustración que traen consigo en su mente, en su corazón, y sin ser juzgadas, porque la migración no se juzga.
Usted no sabe ni remotamente la idea de saber de qué hemos pasado, qué nos han hecho.
¿Y cómo se siente ahora aquí en este espacio?
Yo, bueno, primeramente agradecida con Dios, con la organización. Ay, voy a llorar.
No, tranquilo.
Con ustedes. Pero para adelante.
Sí.
Esperando que nos ayuden.
Tranquila. Y me han dicho es que en ningún lado nos han tratado así, con dignidad.
Para adelante como
¿Sí?
el elefante.
Para atrás,
espanta.
ni para coger impulso.
Sí, para coger impulso. Gracias. Gracias, agradecida.
Vamos.
Lo que siempre promuevo es que este espacio es un espacio de reconstrucción. Este momento es una oportunidad de volver a volar.
Podemos tener la reunión.
El programa de medios de vida en el Servicio Jesuita a Refugiados ha buscado potencializar capacidades de las personas a través de talleres como peluquería, bisutería, corte y confección, panadería.
Hoy es un día de alegría y vamos a entregarle su certificado. Un aplauso para mi doña Berita.
Gracias, señor Jimenito, por todo.
Esto ha permitido a las familias generar sus emprendimientos. Este espacio les ha permitido a ellos sentirse no solos, sino acompañados.
Muchas gracias a esta casa de acogida que los hijos de nosotros, pues aquí es donde se han levantado. Tenemos ya 2 años y tanto que salimos de acá y todavía ellos se mantienen acá.
Vamos a llevar nuestro brazo derecho a nuestro hombro izquierdo y viceversa. Y ese es un abrazo de parte del Servicio Jesuita Refugiados. Quiéranse, ámense y sigan construyendo sus sueños.
Quiero compartirte estas cartas que me dejan o me entregan cuando estoy caminando por aquí, por la casa de acogida. Acá dice: hola Jimena, quería agradecerte por siempre tenernos en cuenta en todo lo que hacen y que Dios te regale salud, vida y mucha fuerza. Muchas gracias, te queremos mucho. Son cosas que realmente me llenan el alma, me han hecho sentir que todo lo que hacemos aquí en este espacio ha valido la pena. Para nosotros ha sido muy valioso el ver cómo siguen luchando, que no se dan por vencidos. Gracias a instituciones como el Servicio Jesuita Refugiados, podemos darles una esperanza de vida.
I'm Father Tom Smolich, the International Director of the Jesuit Refugee Service. Thank you for joining us this evening as we mark our 42nd anniversary of accompaniment, service, and advocacy for and with forcibly displaced people around the world. Behind me is St. Peter's Basilica, where Pope Francis lives and works. In his recent address on Migrant and Refugee Sunday, he reminded all of us that no one can be excluded, that God's kingdom needs to be built with refugees and migrants, because without them, it is not the dream of the future that God wants. This is what JRS is able to do with your help. Help communities recover. Help people find peace and healing. Have opportunities for education and employment, and through advocacy, find their own voices to be agents for their own lives. I think of a teacher in Mae Hong Son refugee camp in Thailand named Joseph, originally from Myanmar. He told us, education offers progress, and progress can offer hope. Education offers us the possibility of peace and reconciliation. Thank you for helping to make Joseph's dream possible, to make the dreams of over 1 million forcibly displaced people possible. Thank you for being with us this evening. Masoud Omari is an Afghan refugee and a music teacher living in Washington, D.C. With one of his former students, Abigail Adams Greenway, he has formed the duo Tabla for Two. They've played all over the country, including at the White House. This evening, coming to you from the Jesuit Parish in Washington, D.C., Holy Trinity Church, here is Tabla for Two.
عاد کردم که دیگر می نخورم در همه حال بجز از امشب و فردا شب و شب‌های دیگر من مست و تو دیوانه من مست و تو دیوانه ما را کی برد خانه 100 بار تو را گفتم 100 بار تو را گفتم کم خورد و سپیمانه من مست و دیوانه من مست و تو دیوانه ما را کی برد خانه 100 بار تو را گفتم 100 بار تو را گفتم کم خورد و سپیمانه من مست و دیوانه
Hi everyone, I'm Father Jim Martin. I'm a Jesuit priest. I'm editor-at-large at America Media, and I'm also author of several books. But really the thing I'm most proud of, if Jesuits are allowed to be proud, is that I worked with JRS for a couple of years. Between 1992 and 1994, I worked with Jesuit Refugee Service in East Africa, helping refugees start small businesses in Nairobi, Kenya. Kenya is a place where lots of refugees from Sudan, Ethiopia, Uganda, from all over East Africa had settled after being in the refugee camps. They were called urban refugees, and we helped them start small businesses to help support themselves and their families. Eventually, we opened up a shop called the Mikono Center, from the Swahili word meaning hands, as a place to market their handicrafts, and that shop still continues today. I sometimes say that if I ever get to heaven, I hope I do, and God asks me what I did with my life on earth, I'm not going to say I wrote this book, or this article or that article, or appeared on this TV show, but rather I worked with JRS. That's why I'm so happy to introduce this beautiful video of a woman named Martha who works in occupational therapy and physical therapy in the Kakuma refugee camp, which I knew well during my time in Kenya. She shows us the resilience and the generosity of refugees. One of the things that surprised me the most about my time working with JRS in East Africa was that the refugees who had really gone through unimaginable tragedies, really separated from everything they know and love, from their countries, from their families, from their livelihoods often, were often the most hopeful and resilient and faithful, I would say, people that I've ever met. So I'm happy to introduce this film, to introduce you to Martha and her wonderful work, and the wonderful work that is being done in Kakuma, in JRS East Africa, and in JRS all over the world. Thanks very much. Thank you for your support of JRS, and God bless you.
Kakuma refugee camp is located in the northwest part of Kenya. A population of around 200,000 people from different nationalities, although the majority are from South Sudan. Some of the things that we take for granted, they are not normal everyday things for the people living here. They struggle even to get meals. People here can eat once a day. JRS work in Kakuma is involved in 3 main areas. That is education, protection, and livelihoods. In the Inclusive Education Program, we provide education for children with intellectual disabilities and physical disabilities. We offer rehabilitation services within our centers and also in the community for children who have severe disabilities who cannot come to the schools to attend the formal learning.
My name is Martha Nyumon. I'm working with JRS as an occupational therapist.
Martha, salama sana. Niko salama kabisa.
I have almost 7 training certificates for JRS. I start with the counseling. I also attend for mental health, for child protection, for child safeguarding. Good. The certificate that lets me to work with JRS, I have for massage. I'm working with the children with the cerebral palsy.
Martha works in both the center and the community. In total, we have about 33 children who are receiving occupational therapy services. They have very severe disabilities, usually from cerebral palsy, being other conditions like neurodevelopmental delays, autism, ADHD. Rehabilitation is a journey. It's not something that you go to the hospital and you get medication and get cured.
These children, they really need my support because they can't manage to assist themselves. But disability is not inability.
You have to know how to approach the parent, to counsel them, to enable them to accept the child. Mother is able to accompany these parents, not only through giving rehabilitation, but also giving them a space to talk about the challenges they're having.
Because of misconception in our community, I do awareness. I tell them not to let the children with disability to stay alone. Let them give like other children. If the child needs to be taken to school, let them bring him or her also to JRS because we have some wheelchair, we have some standing aid, so the child can feel good. If I don't have a knowledge, I can't see these children. But with JRS, I can continue supporting the community. That is my people. I'm a refugee also. I came in 2011. I was born in South Sudan. Life was hard. We spent so many years running from place to place because of war. I was 2 years old when mom died. If you don't have a mother, everything can be a problem. So I decided to come to Kenya to get better life. Being refugee is not easy. When I reached to Kakuma, I was not educated. I just want to learn, then to get a job. I'm a single mother. I need something to support my children. When I see the advertisement in JRS for training, I just said, let me try to learn again.
Martha is the link between the people and JRS. She understands their needs. Mother being in the community working with these parents, we are walking this journey with them. In our team, Martha is the only female OT that we have. So it's very special to see her thrive in that position. There's not so many opportunities for women and girls to advance their education. And not only here in the camp, but also in the countries where a majority of these people come from. There are cultural norms, societal norms that limit girls to get education and also thrive in careers after they have finished their schooling. So to see her, a single mother with 3 children, raising them by herself and being able to balance her work life and her family life, I think it encourages other women and girls in the camp.
What I want to see in my children, I want them to have a good life. I want them to have a good future. I just appreciate JRS. They empower me. I'm really happy working with JRS, and I do a good job supporting these children.
Good evening, friends. If we are lucky, there comes a time in our lives when we realize the abiding value of simplicity. Not simple-mindedness or caring for only a few things, but what Jesus in the Beatitudes called purity of heart. Seeing what really matters, knowing how to put things in perspective, realizing where you want your heart really to be. Our next guest, with that smile that all the world knows, the easy elegance and the flawless, creamy voice that enchanted us again and again, guided us to a clarity of heart through music. And now she will sing of simplicity for us. The plight of our refugees is as simple as human sorrow through all of time, but as complex as the modern world has become. How blessed we are to hear the simple call of our sisters and brothers and their children to walk with them. Ladies and gentlemen, Renée Fleming.
Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight.
Thank you, Renée. We could have listened to you, obviously, all night long. I'm sending the tape now to our Executive Director, Joan Rosenhauer, who happens to be in Colombia, South America.
Thank you, Leo. And thanks to all those who participated in our program tonight. I hope that you are as proud to be a part of this organization as I am, because you are an integral part of JRS. You accompany us in our mission to serve the people we care about through prayer, encouragement, and financial support. Through 42 years and countless wars, droughts, struggles, and unimaginable loss, JRS has walked with refugees, and it is because of you. Please know how grateful we are that you are an active and essential part of the JRS mission of accompanying, serving, and advocating for refugees. As Jimena said, these situations are complex. The driving forces behind migration are not simple, but it is not impossible to make a life better, to give hope. You make it possible to bring dignity and opportunity to more than 1 million people each year. Please continue to walk with us, and if you're inspired by what you've seen, make a gift today by clicking the Give Now button on the left of your screen or by scanning the QR code. Or contact us at fundraising@jrsusa.org to learn about additional ways you can support your brothers and sisters who are displaced. It is the combination of what all of us do that allows families who've been forced to flee their homes to rebuild their lives. We're grateful for whatever you are able to do. Thank you again for joining us on Jesuit Refugee Services 42nd anniversary. From Bogota, Colombia, good night and God bless.